Have you ever wanted to play some video games, but nothing seems to be doing it? Modern games don't invoke that same feeling, and the old classics also fail to inspire. Well, if you can relate, know that I've been there too. Quite often, unfortunately. And it got me thinking, a sad thought I don't want to believe, but do I even enjoy video games anymore? And I mean truly enjoy them, for their own sake. I still play video games. I play Guild Wars 2 every day. But how much of that is just habit? Skinner box type mind tricks to keep me in the game. If I wasn't already 10 years invested, would I still play? Why do more modern games seem so uninteresting to me? With these questions in mind, I decided there was only one course of action: to go back to the start, to replay all the big key games that left an impression on me, starting as far back as I can remember, and working my way to modern day to see if I can reignite my love of video games. I've dubbed this exercise Chasing Nostalgia.
Micky が変身 Micky のマジカルアドベンチャースーパーファミコンで発売中
Capcom.
Micky Mouse, the corporate icon representing never-ending growth and the continuous consumption of media, mostly directed at children to turn them into lifelong paying customers by systematically attacking the nostalgia that they themselves planted in us like we were a bunch of sleeper agents waiting to spend money when the command word is told to us. Well, back before they owned everything, the old Micky Mouse was actually in a handful of games. The most obvious example that comes to mind is Kingdom Hearts.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness? Your Majesty!
But before Square Enix and Disney got into bed with each other, we had other games, like today's game, which oddly enough is called The Magical Quest starring Micky Mouse. And yes, you gotta say the whole thing. It's like a pimp named Slickback, you gotta say the whole name. The Magical Quest starring Micky Mouse. Another Disney property made by Capcom. I guess Capcom was a go-to for Disney back in the day. Many Disney games have their name attached in this era, like Aladdin. So we know it's a quest of the magical variety starring Mickey. Let's check it out in detail. The game starts with everybody being outside playing catch, I guess. Donald is sort of off to the side being like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. And I guess Goofy throws the ball with such force it goes flying and Pluto runs off to go find it. I know it's not breaking any new ground saying this, but if both Goofy and Pluto are dogs, then, like, what the fuck? Anyhow, Goofy says he'll go look for Pluto, but then he actively goes in the opposite direction that Pluto went? It's like Goofy's bailing. Gosh, why don't you go hook yourself? So I guess accepting those words, Mickey just runs right off the cliff? Like, this can't be an accident, he ran right off. We then get to see the map. I always kind of like looking at a map in between levels. It shows us what we'll deal with ahead and how far we've come. It's not that important, but it's something I always personally enjoy. So level 1 starts and we're high up in some beanstalk clouds? Didn't we start the adventure falling off a cliff and now we're high up in the clouds? What? I guess when you're the wealthiest mouse in the world, you can bend reality. Shortly into the level, you meet this wizard guy. I'm not sure why they didn't just make him Yin Sid, but anyhow, I love how defeated he is. He's like, look, dude, Pete is too strong. Everyone who tries to fight him is dead. He puts evil spells on everything he captures. Your dog is his now. Just go home. It's GG's. And Mickey's all like, I'm goddamn Micky Mouse. You better recognize. So Wizard is like, okay, go, but you're gonna die. And then you continue along, simple platforming. Game is definitely designed for young kids in mind. It's a Disney game. Simple yet colorful and fun. One thing I really do like is once you beat a boss, they literally give up the ghost when they die. I don't know why, but this makes me chuckle. Level 2 starts and the wizard shows back up, and he's all like, well, you haven't died yet, so I guess I can help you now. Which, I mean, kind of a dick move to wait to help now, but okay. And he gives us some new threads. I kinda dig it, to be honest. But again, why didn't they just use the magical hat Mickey? You know, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, the short in Fantasia. I don't really understand, the marketing does itself. Anyway, we now have magic. You can now store energy in your hand and then finger someone to death. Don't take that out of context. Now the game lets you spam a short-range magic attack or charge it up to shoot a big power shot. Honestly, it's just like Mega Man, which would make sense. This is Capcom, and they own Mega Man. I'm on to you, Capcom. Though, I gotta say, the charge noise it makes when you are charging up your attack makes me want to staple my nuts to a ceiling fan. So thanks for that. The boss battle of this area is some big spider thing. Its fat face and spider body is actually kind of weird and creepy. Kind of makes me think of some Japanese yokai monster or something. Just finger blast him to death. Then you descend into hell, I guess. This is where I keep all the people who I copyright strike. Haha! Eventually you get the firefighter outfit. It kind of feels like a step back from ancient magics to a water hose, but honestly the hose is pretty fun. It's used to put out fire, push or destroy blocks. Later it's even used to freeze into ice platforms. It has multiple uses, making it overall more handy than the finger magic. Magic is basically just DPS. The boss of this level, though, is like this weird face thing. I don't know what this is, but you just spray it till it dies. Kneeling down to spray lets you get a little bit more damage in, so there's your speedrun strats. From the pits of hell to a mountainside, we begin the next level and, well, look who's here. It's Goofy. He says he still hasn't found Pluto, which is no surprise there. And gosh, I'm back from doing my own video game. Here's a new outfit, good luck, yuck. But that's just Goofy on the outside. Goofy on the inside.
Wake me up inside. I can't wake up inside. Save me.
Also, silly enough, Mickey changes right there, and I mean, Goofy can see over the curtain, dude. This suit gives you a grapple hook. You can shoot straight up or in a diagonal upward motion, and then you can swing or climb up. It's actually a lot like an old game called Bionic Commando, which was also made by Capcom. Wait a minute! So the objective of this level is to keep climbing up and up and over. You deal with some tricky platforming, some wind gimmicks, because of course there is, and then you fight with this big bird. It was super hard for me at first, but once you know how it works, it's fairly simple. But it's definitely the trickiest boss yet. Very easy to just get blown right off the platform. Now, before we continue, I just want to say, thanks for the support. The likes, subscribing, and comments really help me out. So if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel. It's free, takes 1 second, and if you hate it, you can always unsub later. Thanks. Now let's get back to the game. Then it's the ice level. Honestly, nothing much to report here, standard ice level fare. I do like how, as I said earlier, the fire hose power lets you freeze ice into platforms, so it's a cool way to utilize it. But other than that, nothing much to say except this boss is an asshole. Never in my life has an ice skating son of a bitch kicked my teeth in more than this elegant bastard. It's just about knowing his pattern, because there's little to no way you can save yourself if you mess up. But many attempts later I figured it out, but he was the hardest boss in this game, bar none. And then after that we finally find ourselves outside Pete's castle. I do find it kind of funny that Mickey can apparently hear Pluto barking from outside. Is this the least insulated castle ever? Does he lack a dungeon? How do we hear the dog way outside? It seems like shoddy craftsmanship. But anyway, you storm the castle, using all your tricks and abilities you've unlocked, showing the world that no one can stop the power of late-stage capitalism. Then the final fight is with Pete, and holy crap baskets, he's huge. It's like you're a mouse to him, which, I mean, is on brand. Anyway, the fight itself is not too hard. You just ask him to smell your finger flinger, and he'll be down in no time. Then after that, they pull the oldest story in the book. Guess what? It was all a dream. What a cheesy way to always reset the status quo. Donald shows up for his cameo. And then we go out and play catch like in the game's intro. I wonder if Mickey holds any resentment to Goofy. Haha! Hey Goofy! Catch! And then the credits play, and that ends this magical quest. Game 6 now complete. This is one of those games where I'm not sure how I obtained it. I know it was only 5 or 6 when I played it. Honestly, it's another simple enough platformer, adding more credence to why platformers are my favorite style of video game. Looking back, I really lucked out by getting video games that I could actually beat. Proper difficulty for my age at the time. But this next game is actually the first game on this list to be kind of a stinker. It's not a platformer, It's not even really good at what it is, but we can check in on that game in the next episode. Till then, I got nostalgia to chase. Stay safe. Peace.